Well, if you look at polling right now, inflation is dominating the #1 concern of voters. Right behind that is crime. Right behind that is illegal immigration. So those right now are what the voters are telling us are their top 3 concerns. Look, Roe versus Wade, there are a lot of Democrats and a lot of folks in the corporate media that are hoping if the Supreme Court overturns Roe versus Wade that it will magically prevent the red tidal wave that is happening in November. I don't think that's good.
Well, I happen to think Senator Cruz got the story completely right and the conclusions. Joining us now with some reaction, my great pal Pete Hegseth, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend and author of Battleground for the American Mind, Uprooting a Century of Miseducation. That is out June 14th, and we will review it on TV and radio, I promise. Absolutely. The question I asked Ted Cruz was which is more important for the November election, inflation and a faltering economy, or Roe v. Wade? He opted for inflation. What do you think?
It's not even close. Inflation and the economy, bar none. They're going to make a straw man out of Roe v. Wade, which their party has been tethered to for decades as the sort of the core issue that defines them. And as a result, they'll ratchet up the noise and try to excite their base. They're underestimating 2 things. One, the excitement amongst conservatives for the fact that Donald Trump provided 3 Supreme Court justices that overturned a decision that they've been committed to for 50 years. That's energizing for voters as well. And you saw it in Ohio in the way that Trump's endorsement elevated J.D. Vance in that race. There's still an investment and belief in his agenda. And the other one is Democrats are trying to sell, oh, look at all the jobs, look at the deficit reduction. It's all, again, completely twisted arguments about the economy that don't meet people where they're at. They look at the prices, they look at the costs, they look at the opportunities they have in their own lives, and they realize a year and a half ago they had it really well.
The Biden,
and not today.
Look, President on down, the Biden administration is in complete denial over inflation.
Complete.
And basically, they're, I think, in complete denial that the economy is now showing signs of faltering. I'm not sure there's a recession directly in front of us, but I also think with a high inflation rate like this, it will be very hard, if not impossible, to avoid recession at some point later this year and next year.
You know that better than I, but all I know is that the blame for the conditions people are feeling, whether it's fair or not in each moment, and in this case it is fair, is pointed at the White House.
Yeah.
What policies have you pursued that have either made my life better or worse? And in this particular case, between spending and their desire to spend even more if they could, you talk about save the country, kill the bill.
Yes.
I mean, without actually killing the bill, it would be even worse than it is right now.
Yes.
And then the absolute assault on energy and energy production in this country. People are not dumb. You can spin talking points at them all they want. They know, and then you add the border and crime and everything else on top of it. They know this is both an ideologically dedicated leftist in the White House based on who's surrounded him and a completely incompetent commander-in-chief and executor of our economy, and they'll vote accordingly.
That's why I love it when Biden says he's brought down the deficit. If he had his way, he would have increased spending by over $5 trillion. And he's still trying.
And if the deficit increases because of a global pandemic, and then you cut it in half, it's still higher than it was before.
And if emergency spending comes down, no, I know. All right, I want to put up, here's President Joe Biden's, here, we have a sound from Biden describing something called MAGA.
This MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history, in recent American history.
All right, President Trump responds to the MAGA, and we don't have the sound, so I'll read it. Inflation, incompetent withdrawals from Afghanistan, leaving hostages horribly wounded, soldiers, $85 billion of military equipment. MAGA is saving America. I'm kind of guilty of MAGA because I was on the MAGA payroll for 3 years. But, I mean, Trump's fighting back. Who wins this argument?
Who wins this argument? I mean, he's not indicting Donald Trump. He's indicting the people who support Donald Trump. I mean, you and I could have a debate right now about who's more extreme. Are you more of an extremist or am I more of an extremist? But they're not even pointing at you or me or the Fox News channel. As Donald Trump has said many times, they're coming after, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you. I just happen to be in the way. It is the beliefs of hardworking, tax-paying, law-abiding Americans who simply, love the flag, love their police, go to church on Sunday, who have been completely dismissed by Biden. Donald Trump says, I want to honor the things that you've done for our nation. And then they're the ones deemed to be extremists when our cities burned 2 years ago, Antifa. I mean, I could go down the list of extremist
What
organizations.
about Antifa, for God? What about Black Lives Matter? What about defending police? Those are crazy.
Count.
Those are crazy people.
They don't count.
And they, by the way, will be totally rejected at the polls in November. I mean, you look at the polling now. Utter rejection. So Biden can be mean and nasty as much as he wants, and that's what's happened to
What
him.
else does he have, Larry?
That's right.
That's what it is.
He's just trying to be
a
fearmonger.
He's going to cling to Roe v. Wade as if what this is a total ban on abortion, when actually it sends it back to the states, which is actually more democratic.
Yes.
And then he's going to mischaracterize his opponents and make them out to look extremists.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
It's not going to work. There you go. If you say it's not going to work, it's not going to work.
you.
That's the deal. Pete Hegseth. Be sure to order a copy of Pete's upcoming book, Battle for the American Mind, Uprooting a Century of Miseducation, available June 14th. I presume it could be one click on Amazon.
You got it.
And other fine booksellers. Pete Hegseth, the best.